Yesterday, I had a chance to talk with Bronco Mendenhall on a number of different subjects regarding BYU sports, football, and the approaching schedule with Missouri. Bronco Mendenhall, part of BYU football, all access goes now. Hey, Bronco, UNLV game week. Let's start with this. I talked to Bobby Hauck yesterday, and we talked about your friendship that developed in Northern Arizona, and we brought up the fact that you look a little bit like each other. Some people said that the doppelganger effect is there. And he said, look, while Bronco can coach me into the ground, I am way better looking than him. What is your response to that?
Well, I think Bobby might be better looking for those that are maybe aesthetically challenged in terms of what their point of view is. But, you know, sometimes just for self-image, you have to say those things to make yourself feel good. So I think that's probably what Bobby's doing.
Oh, fair enough.
I'll play along just to try to help him out.
Now let's talk about the scheduling news that has all of BYU Sports Nation really excited. At Missouri in 2015, they have a return game set for 2020. What does adding Missouri to next year's schedule mean to the future of BYU football?
It's just the next step. When the entire schedule is announced, it will be the most dynamic and most difficult schedule that BYU's ever taken on from beginning to end. And that's our intent. While we are independent, it's not to lose ground, it's to gain ground. And this targets another game in November that will be helpful in terms of getting more balance in our schedule, not only front end, but back end.
When you look at the schedule next year, did you think that it would happen this quickly within independence, that you would be able to go in 4 or 5 years to that schedule with 2 Big Ten teams, a Pac-12 team and an SEC team?
That was our hope. And the key now is there is no argument and there's no place for anyone to look at the schedule and say, well, if you're only a Power 5, you'd be playing these teams. We are playing them, and we're playing them in really unique locations, and we're playing maybe a more diverse group of teams and maybe a more difficult group of teams than most programs are playing. And so now it's just to continue to recruit to and coach the level necessary to win those games against those teams to keep elevating our program.
Oh, even the group of 5 teams that you look at next year coming into Provo,
exactly
East Carolina
right.
And Cincinnati and Boise State, those are not bottom dweller teams.
So that's the idea. When you look at East Carolina's season, when you look at Cincinnati's history, and now you add Boise as well, which is a great game. And then we've moved Utah State to the last game of the season, which is, there's a lot of intrigue there, and Utah State's program is growing and expanding and improving. And so, yeah, our intent wasn't to then really have any easy games. And so the group of 5, it's who are the best group of 5 teams that we can find, as well as the Power 5. And that gives us really where every game is meaningful in terms of maybe national recognition, but also a gauge of where our program is.
Back to the Bronco versus Bobby conversation. We'll let the fans determine what they think in terms of who the better looking guy is. But your teams are going to go out and compete at LaVell Edwards Stadium on Saturday in the Blackout Game. Chance of snow. What does your team think about the first real inclement weather situation, but a home game wearing the black uniforms?
Yeah, I think this generation, the uniforms are probably what they like most. Certainly the snow is just part of being in Utah and playing here. They want to play football, and they want to play it better and improved from what we have been doing, and they were really encouraged by Middle Tennessee and the way our program and our team played collectively. They want to expand and grow from that, and I'd like to see them do that, and I'd like to see them do it at home.
Michael Olisa told us that the legs were a little bit slow at Tennessee and that the bye week was much needed. If the legs were slow at Tennessee and you had a week off and you're home against UNLV, that would all point to a fresh BYU team. How is your team health-wise?
We're gaining some ground. Again, with the number of injuries we've had, you can't expect it just to now be like the beginning of the year. But Alani Fua and Algie Brown will now be back with us, and so we haven't had Alani for 5 weeks, and so it'll be nice to have an experienced player and a playmaker that's already been demonstrated for this past couple of years in his career to be with us, and so we're looking forward to having.
I've had a couple of notable ESPN guys, namely Trevor Maddich, say what Christian Stewart has done has been borderline heroic. Because the win-loss record isn't there for Christian, that's obviously dampened what he's done, but you look at it from a different light.
Yeah.
How do you see Christian Stewart and what he has done?
He's given us a great chance in every game that he's been the quarterback, and that's all I could have asked for him. He's optimistic. He's a fierce competitor. He's throwing the ball with accuracy and for yardage, and so really my challenge to the team when Christian became our quarterback is the 21 others of you that are significant starters and key members of this team. I'd like to see your game elevate to match what Christian is doing, and if that happens and when that happens, and I saw signs of it at Middle Tennessee, then that could be a nice finish to the season.
You can get bowl eligible for a 10th consecutive season. There are less than 10% of the FBS teams that can lay claim to that statement. What would getting bowl eligible on Saturday for a 10th year mean to you and to BYU?
Man, it's hard. It's hard to win, and it's hard to win consistently, and it's hard to win enough games to go to a bowl game, and then it's hard to win those games. And we've done that for 9 years, and I think it would be a remarkable feat for our program for 10 years straight, and it's something that I think deserves as much attention and credit and acknowledgement that anyone could possibly give when you put that span together, because consistency is hard in college football, and we are gaining consistency. My focus now, after saying all that, is to try to play really well against UNLV. Sure. And then we'll focus on the next one, and then we'll focus on the next one, and then we'll talk about postseason. But I would really like a strong finish to this year for not only Christian, but for the rest of our team, and that would be empowering and feel good.
For the record, I don't know if you're familiar with this number, but 30 G5 teams and 30 P5 teams scheduled in future schedules for a total of 60. That's pretty good.
It is pretty good, and we're not being passive about the future of the program, and we're not being passive on a daily basis. Matching up and adjusting to whatever the circumstances come as we go is what my job is, and I'm comfortable and really pleased with the consistency and performance over 10 years, and now looking for more.
Okay, we appreciate the update. And what are you wearing on Saturday, Coach?
I don't know. Not sure.
You got to impress the fans, right? If this is a competition between you and Bobby Hauck.
Well, you know, I think Bobby might think it's a competition. I'm just going to focus on seeing if we can play well.
That's a fair answer. Thanks,
All right.
Bronco.
Thank you.